I was thinking about you today. Once I pass this test and get into this pre-med program, it will be clearer than ever how different you and I are. Honestly, I was seriously mad when I found out my dad was marrying a loser high school dropout like you. Ever since the day I first met you, I could tell that you and I were just not at all in the same league. And now I can finally say that you do not deserve to be in the same family, the same house, or even the same country as me and my dad. Get out of our house right now.
Oh, today was your big test, wasn't it? You seem like you're in as good of a mood as you ever are. Can I take that to mean that you're confident about how well you performed?
You got that right. I finished that stupid test faster than any of the other morons in the room. It was way easier than I thought it would be. Like, I was even kind of disappointed. But not even half as disappointed as I am that my dad married you. I've been waiting for the day when I could finally tell you exactly how I feel about you. And now that day has come. A low IQ loser like you has no right to marry my dad or call yourself my mom.
I've been doing plenty of waiting myself, Luna. I've been waiting for the day when you would finally calm down and accept that your dad and I wanted to be together. But now I'm afraid that day may never come.
Are you kidding? Of course it's never going to come. I have never for 1 second thought of you as anything other than a free maid service. God knows my dad isn't going to do any of the housework. And since I was busy studying for my test, I haven't had any free time at all lately either. And with you around, the house stayed clean, so I kept my mouth shut. But guess what? I just finished taking my test, so I'll have a ton of free time to wash the dishes or whatever. So I'm happy to announce that we don't need you anymore. I can take care of myself just fine.
Wow, Luna, I had no idea you felt so strongly about me. I mean, you've always been pretty short with me, and the way you spoke to me always gave me the idea that you weren't too fond of me. But to say I was nothing more than a free maid service for you? I know I'm not perfect, but I'll have you know that I was doing my best to support you. I was hoping that one day you might even start calling me Mom.
Oh my God, no! Don't hold your breath for that. You want to be my mom? Tell you what, how about you go and get admitted into a college as prestigious as the one I'm about to go to? If you can do that, then I'll call you whatever you want.
I see you're still held up on the idea of having a college education. I can assure you that there are many more important things in life than educational attainment. I really hope that you can come to understand that. If you can learn to focus on the most important things, then you're far more likely to live the best life possible.
Huh? What are you rambling on about? I already know how to live my best life possible. I literally have a 5-year plan. And everything is going just how I wanted it to go. Really, the only super important step in the plan was passing this test and getting admitted to the pre-med program. And now that I've done that, the rest is going to be super easy.
Well, I'm glad you have a plan for your life. I'm also glad to see that you've chosen a wonderful path in life. Being a doctor is an incredibly important and rewarding profession. You'll have the ability to help people who are in need. You could even save a person's life. Wouldn't that be incredible?
What are you talking about? You think that's why I wanted to get into this pre-med program?
You mean it's not?
No, you idiot. Get real. You think I want to spend all my time around sick people? Yuck. What if one of them coughs or bleeds all over me? That could get me sick, and I'll take a hard pass on that.
I'm not sure what you mean, Luna. You're saying that you aren't going to become a doctor to help people in need?
No. What's with you, Carly? What do you think I am, some kind of saint? I don't care about a bunch of coughing, bleeding, puking, screaming, crying, sick and injured people. There is only one thing in this world that I care about. Me. All I want out of college is to get married to an elite guy who's going to go on to become rich and influential. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life working like some kind of corporate drone. Even if I did want to work, it definitely wouldn't be with sick people. No, I just want to marry a rich man. He'll give me all the money I want to buy clothes and shoes. He'll take me on expensive trips to exotic locations all around the world. That's my dream.
I see. Well, that's quite the dream you have, Luna. I don't know how good of an idea it's going to be, considering how expensive the pre-med program you're applying to is.
It's just like any other investment. Some people invest in stocks, some people invest in real estate, and some people invest in cryptocurrency. I'm going to invest in something that'll have a way better payoff. All I need to do is pretty myself up every class, find the guy who looks the most promising, and use my feminine charm on him. Then we'll get married and he'll pay off whatever debt I build up while in school and have tons of money left over. That's the kind of life my dad would want me to have. He wouldn't want me wasting away the best years of my life studying, working, slaving away just to bring home an average income.
So that's the plan you talked about earlier? You're just going to marry a guy and have him take care of you?
I can't believe you actually thought I wanted to work. You're such a moron. Your problem is that you're thinking like a low IQ high school dropout. You and I aren't even close to being on the same level, and don't you forget that. Now, for the last time, divorce my dad and get out of our house and our lives. We don't need you now, and we never will. So pack up your stuff and be gone by tomorrow morning. Actually, you know what? Don't pack up your stuff. I'll just throw it all down to the curb for you. So you can just go straight from your office to some homeless shelter or something, because you are never setting foot in this house again.
Luna, I feel like I should warn you that you are making a tremendous mistake. Are you sure you want to do this? Once you kick me out of your life, there is no way you'll ever be able to bring me back in.
Oh, I am 100% sure. And my dad will be happier this way too. Like, why would he even want to stay with a dumb old woman like you? With you out of the way, he can date younger and prettier women.
Okay then, Luna. Have it your way.
Hello there, Carly. How are things? Have you recovered from the shock of me getting you kicked out of the house? Have you adjusted to the harsh realities of being homeless?
Wow, I didn't expect to hear from you, Luna. I was under the impression that you never wanted to speak to me again. Why are you texting me even after your big plan to kick me out succeeded?
Aw, are you sad that I ruined your life? Are you gonna cry now?
I'm actually quite busy at the moment, Luna. If you have something to say to me, I'd appreciate if you could make it quick.
Oh yeah, you are definitely crying right now. Anyway, would you like to know what I just found out? I passed the entrance exam for the pre-med program. Dad was so happy for me when I told him. He just about started crying. And you know what that means? Now it's official. I am going to live a way different life than you. Like, it's going to be so different, you wouldn't even be able to comprehend it.
Wow, that's excellent. I'm glad you're one step closer to making your dream come true, Luna. I do have one question for you, though. This isn't any of my concern anymore, but I am curious. How are you planning on paying for your tuition? Is your dad going to be able to help you out with that?
What kind of question is that? Yeah, he's going to help me. He's going to pay for the whole thing.
Is that so? Well, if that's the case, then that's great news.
Oh no, don't tell me. Did you ask me that expecting that I wouldn't have a plan for paying my tuition? Like you thought I would overlook such an important detail? Oh my God, you are pathetic. Sorry, Carly, but unlike you, I actually have a functioning brain. You're so lame, seriously.
I was only asking out of curiosity. You say you're fine, so that answers my question. Anyway, since we're not family anymore, I would appreciate it if you could stop sending me messages like this.
This is hilarious. You're so jealous that I'm going to have a way better life than you. I'm glad I texted you, Carly. I needed a good laugh after doing nothing but studying all day for the last year while preparing for the admissions test. Anyway, I'll let you go. I wouldn't want you to lose your spot in line at the soup kitchen. Bye-bye, Carly. I look forward to seeing your obituary.
Bye, Luna. I hope things go as well for you as you hope.
Yo, Carly, what's up, babe? Everything good? I was wondering, you want to go out on a date or something one of these days? I miss my girl.
I'd love that. I miss seeing you every day, too. By the way, how has Luna been since we divorced?
That kid? Well, considering I divorced you for her and had to go back to living on my own, I'm not really interested in doing anything else for her. Like, I barely even respond to her texts anymore. I had a kid at the cafe I stopped at the other day teach me how to disable notifications for her number.
You know what, Kent? You are one interesting guy. You have this odd combination of being willing to make massive sacrifices for your daughter and then not giving her the time of day.
Yeah, I mean, what else could I do? I knew from the very start that she would be against me getting remarried. I thought that once she got used to it, she'd chill out and stop being such a buzzkill, but boy, was I wrong. And I was never really all that big into the whole institution of marriage anyway. If me divorcing you means she's satisfied, I'm satisfied, and you're satisfied, then everybody's happy, right?
Yeah, I suppose it's working out well enough for all of us so far. But are you sure you're okay with going no contact with your own daughter?
Man, that girl never gave me the respect she should have. Like, you should have heard the way she was talking when talking me into divorcing you. She was all like, think about it, Dad, you'll be free to date younger and prettier women. I mean, it's like she doesn't even know me. There's only one lovebird who can tame this free spirit, and that's you, Carly.
We really were made for each other, weren't we? That's why I had no issue agreeing to have a nice and clean divorce with you just like she wanted. I know our relationship is stronger than any piece of paper.
And we're still seeing each other at least once a week. So yeah, if that's what she thinks of me, then I'll say that this is me fulfilling the last of my duties to her as her father. She's already 18 and she'll be going to college soon, so she can support herself from now on. Divorcing you was the last request that I'll ever take from her.
I'm just kind of surprised that you're so easygoing about this. Even you, easily the most easygoing man I've ever met. I mean, I'm on the same page as you and was never all that caught up in the idea of a legal marriage. Plus, right from the start, I wasn't concerned at all with what Luna thought of us being together, but you're still her father. I guess it's hard for me to believe you'd be okay with cutting her off like that.
Well, I mean, think about it. I never had things as good as they were when I was living with you. Being around you all the time was really fun, and I gave up all of that for her. If that's not enough to satisfy her, then she's just being way too greedy.
All right, if you say so. So what are your plans for what you'll do here on out?
Well, I terminated my lease, so the next thing I'm gonna do is look for a plot of land out in the woods somewhere. I'm finally gonna make my dream come true. I'm gonna live off the land, grow my own food, and be self-sufficient. Since I'm not living with you anymore, that means I'm free to live wherever and do whatever I want, right?
That's so like you, Kent. And yeah, you're right, living with me must have been a bit cramped for you. We had to live somewhere that was within a reasonable commute of my office.
Right? I was like an animal trapped in a cage. A nice cage, mind you, but a cage nonetheless. Plus, you know that I've never been what you'd call a high-income individual, right? I basically just work whatever job sounds the most interesting to me any given week. Which, while exciting, isn't exactly the most stable lifestyle for supporting a daughter. Her whole divorce her daddy thing actually came at a pretty good time when I think about it. She'll be leaving home, so that means I'm free of any responsibilities to her. I've got nothing to tie me down anymore.
Yeah, about that. I just heard she passed the test and got accepted into that pre-med program. You must be happy, but what are you going to do about that?
Oh yeah, the test thing. You were probably way happier than me to hear about that. You always wanted to do something to help out sick people. It's a real bummer that you never got to become a doctor yourself like you wanted. But you do a lot to help out others in any way that you can. And now my girl Luna is gonna help you make your dream come true for real. Isn't that great?
Yeah, sure, Kent. Real great. But what is she going to do about her tuition?
Her tuition? I don't know. I always assumed she would have figured out something for herself by now. I guess if we hadn't divorced, then you would have footed the whole bill for her yourself. But that possibility has flown out the window now. So if she was willing to kick out the person who was going to pay for her tuition, that must mean she has some kind of plan in mind. Like, I don't know, getting a part-time job while studying or something? I was never really concerned about that, seeing as though she's not my problem once she turns 18.
She actually does have a plan. It seems like she's expecting that you'll pay it for her.
Wait, what? She wants me to pay for her tuition? No siree, not a chance. Not gonna happen. I already told her that I couldn't pay for it. I was really clear to her that once she graduates high school, she's gonna have to take care of herself. Although, I don't know, she was staring pretty intently at her phone while I was talking to her. Maybe she didn't hear me? But in any case, it's not my problem. Besides, she should know better than anyone else that I don't have the kind of money to pay for tuition at a prestigious pre-med program like that.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, that clears up a lot. I was confused when she was telling me that earlier, but now I guess she was just under the wrong impression. Oh well, I'm certainly not going to pay for her tuition anymore, so she'll just have to work something out herself, like you say. I've told her as much myself.
You really think she would come to you for help in the first place, though? Like, that girl has never thought of you as a family member. The way she talks about you when you're not around, yikes! After all that, I really don't think she's gonna come crawling on her hands and knees to beg you for money.
Well, I certainly hope she won't. Anyway, I'm glad you and I are on the same page about how to deal with her. That means I have nothing to worry about.
So yeah, about that date, when are you free?
I'll check my schedule and get back to you. Do you think you can fit me into your busy schedule?
Let's see. I'm gonna go fishing this afternoon. Probably take a hike through the woods tomorrow. I'm swamped, but I can pencil you in somewhere.
Hey, what gives? I just talked to my dad, and he said he is not going to pay my tuition.
How did you pass that pre-med test if you can't even read basic English? I told you not to contact me anymore.
Yeah, well, circumstances have changed. My dad was thrilled that I passed that test. He said he was proud of me. Why would he go all crazy like that if he wasn't going to pay for my tuition?
Well, if I had to wager a guess, I'd say he was happy for you because you passed the test. Passing tests is a good thing, right? I don't see what the source of your confusion is. But just because he's happy for you doesn't mean he's going to pay for your tuition.
If he wasn't going to pay, he should have said so sooner. Like, come to me, look me in the eyes, and say it explicitly, I'm not gonna pay for your tuition. And you knew about this too, didn't you? Why didn't you tell me? You suck, Carly. Everything sucks. I had no idea my dad didn't make enough money to pay for my tuition.
Really? That seems like the sort of thing you should be able to tell at your age. But in any case, you should have known because he did tell you. He said he wasn't going to support you after you graduated high school, right?
Maybe he said something to that effect.
Yeah, and college is after high school, right? That means he's not going to support you in college. That is, he won't pay your tuition. Even if he wanted to, he doesn't have that kind of money. When he was talking to me, he was under the impression you would get a job and pay for everything yourself.
He never told me that, though.
Again, yes, he did, but that's not my problem. This is an issue between you and your dad. Leave me out of it. You're a big girl now. Go and take care of your own problems.
I'm not done with you yet. He told me about you, too. He said you were way happier than he was about me getting into that pre-med program. It was just like you said the other day. You thought I was going to become a doctor and help sick people.
Yes, and? Are we really going to rehash that conversation?
I'm getting to the point. Give me a second, will you? After he talked about that, he started laughing, like harder than he's ever laughed before. I asked him what was so funny, and he told me that you were planning on paying for my tuition. And since I made him divorce you, that offer is now off the table. Is that true?
Yep, all of it. I wanted to become a doctor when I was younger, but I dropped out of high school. On top of that, my family wasn't wealthy at all, so there was no way we would have been able to afford it anyway. That's why I was so happy when you started talking about going to med school and why I wanted to support you in any way I could. Because in spite of how much you hated me, I was still moved by the thought that you could help make my dream come true.
So he was telling the truth. But how were you going to pay for it? You don't have any money.
I'm only telling you this now because I'm no longer your stepmother, but looks can be deceiving. I run my own company and I haven't looked in a while, but I believe my net assets are somewhere around $3 million.
What?
So yeah, I was more than willing and able to pay for your tuition, but alas, you insisted that your father and I get divorced. But not only that, you took the liberty of throwing away all my things before I could get back to the house and collect them. Combine that with all the insults you've been flinging in my direction lately, and I've changed my mind.
I don't believe it. You were really going to do that for me?
That's right. I knew your dad wouldn't be able to, so I thought I would help you out in his place. But not anymore. No, I think I'm going to donate what I would have paid for your tuition to a charitable organization. There's one I've worked with in the past that helps sick children.
You're serious, aren't you? If I hadn't gone and pushed my dad to divorce you, you would have paid for me to go to med school?
How many times are you going to ask me that question?
I'm in shock, okay?
I was in shock too at how viciously opposed you were to me marrying your father. Even before that, you hated the thought of us even having a good relationship. I remember whenever I hugged your father goodnight, you would immediately start throwing a fit.
And in spite of all that, you were still gonna pay? But, why? What is it with you and me becoming a doctor? Is it really just because you wanted to become one but couldn't?
There's a bit more to the story, actually. Back when I was in middle school, my little sister contracted a rare illness. There was treatment available, but it was experimental, incredibly expensive, and not covered by insurance. My parents couldn't afford it and couldn't find any organizations willing to help them out. So my sister didn't make it. My mom felt so guilty that she wasn't able to save her daughter's life that she fell into a deep depression. It was all too much for my father to deal with, so he abandoned us. That's why I dropped out of high school, because I had to work to support my mother and myself. My dream of becoming a doctor was gone before it even had a chance to begin.
Wow. That's crazy. So you didn't drop out of high school because you were too dumb to graduate?
In fairness, I never thought of myself as being naturally gifted or anything. I do, however, have an above-average work ethic. I used the money left over after paying the bills to study about running a business, and after a while I started my own. It grew and grew to the point that now I've amassed something of a small fortune for myself, and now I intend to use that money to help people who are sick and suffering. I can't be a doctor myself, and I'm too late to save my sister. But there are still things I can do to save lives, and to see to it that no family goes through what mine did ever again.
Well, if that's the case, then I have great news for you. There just so happens to be an aspiring pre-med student who needs help paying for her tuition.
And who might that be?
Me! I thought that was obvious. If you help me go to college, then I'll go on to help sick kids just like your sister in the future. That's what you want, right? Don't worry, Carly. I swear to you, I will make your dream come true.
You're a little too late to play Little Miss Altruism, Luna. You already spilled the beans to me, remember? You told me that all you wanted to do was marry a rich man. You don't want to help sick children. All you want is expensive clothes, shoes, and luxurious vacations. You said so yourself.
But that was before. Hearing your story has changed my heart. It's a miracle. I can't wait to get right into the hospital and start operating on all the sick kids I can get my hands on.
That's pretty creepy, actually. And also not going to work on me. I've learned a lot of lessons in my time, and one of them is that people never truly change. Do you have any idea how much trouble you caused for your dad? He's come to me so many times over the course of our relationship to apologize for your behavior. And now he even divorced me just to please you. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back. He loves you as your father, but he's also fed up with your awful attitude. He wanted me to tell you that divorcing me was his parting gift to you, and that I am no longer under any obligation to help you pay for college.
Wait, what? You mean my dad knew you were going to pay for my tuition and divorced you anyway?
That's right, Luna. You have now successfully alienated the only two people in this world who would have lifted a finger to help you.
This can't be happening. This is going to ruin everything. Tell me, Carly, what do I have to do to get you to help me? Do you want me to apologize? I'll apologize to both you and my dad.
I don't need to hear any meaningless apologies from you. You have your 5-year plan, don't you? You'll just have to make it work yourself.
How, though?
How about the same way I did? Get a job. Anyway, I wanted to tell you that you were right about one thing. You are indeed going to live a way different life than me, and not in a good way. Luna did her very best to try and convince me to recommit to supporting her college education. I have no money to spend on some bratty teenager who's not my daughter or even stepdaughter. I kept refusing until eventually Luna realized she was out of luck and simply gave up. Not just on getting money from me, but on going to college altogether. There was no way she would be able to get the kind of money she needed by the start of the fall semester. So instead of spending her days in the classroom, she's spending them waiting tables at a local restaurant. After all the time I spent with her, though, I can honestly say that while she is a bit presumptuous, she's not a stupid girl by any means. I'm sure she'll find some way to make things work in the end. As for me, I decided that I would use my money to start up my own charitable organization. It's specifically geared for financially supporting the parents of sick children who need help paying for necessary medical treatment. I'm also starting a scholarship for people planning to go into pediatric medicine. And if Luna has a genuine change of heart, she's still more than welcome to apply.